Welcome to the Beauty and Business Breakdown with Becca Healey. I'm Becca. I'm an entrepreneur, permanent makeup artist, and owner of Forever Brows and Beauty Studio. My studio is located in Cincinnati, Ohio, and my channel is where I come to talk to other beauty professionals, entrepreneurs, and people who inspire me. We're going to be covering different topics every episode and leaving you with inspiration, insight, and business tips. Please like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Forever Brows and Beauty Studio. Now let's jump right in. Come on, Pennylane. There you are.
Hi.
Hello.
How's everyone?
We're doing great. Thanks so much for joining me.
Awesome. My pleasure. Absolutely. Where are you guys with all of this COVID business?
So for us, it's in Ohio. It's been a little bit more open, I would say. Things have been kind of open for the last few months, so we haven't really had any issues. But how is it there in Canada?
We're in lockdown again,
Mm-hmm.
Ontario. So we just went back into lockdown. Ooh, I have sparkly eyes. Look at that. We went back into lockdown April 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and they've now just extended it to the middle of May. So
Wow.
it is what it is. We'll figure it all out, right? That's all we can do.
Yeah, well, I'm just so happy to have you here so we can talk and take up some of your time since you're not.
No, thanks. It's like totally my pleasure to be here. This is super fun and awesome.
Awesome.
And I hope that I hope there's some people that join us and get some good information out of this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself and who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I'm Pennylane Ritchie. My business is Pennylane Dermal Solutions. My Instagram handle is Pennylanes of Paris. My initial background is aesthetics of 23 years, and then makeup artistry, and then I ventured into the permanent makeup game about 12 years ago. It kind of like, it was an evolution of my career, just being in the skin game and then makeup and then making it permanent on everyone. It's been a super fun journey. I absolutely love what I do. And it's interesting to see how this entire industry has evolved, especially in the last like 5 or 6 years. It's truly changed. Mm-hmm. So that's who I am. I have my studio in a very small town. I'm in Ontario, Canada. My town is called Paris. We are dubbed the prettiest town in Canada. That's and so cool. I won't argue that. So
that's awesome. I love that. So that's where the Pennylanes of Paris comes from. I get that.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's just dive right into our topic. So we're talking about mistakes to avoid when you're new in the beauty industry. So what are the biggest mistakes that you made when you were just starting
out? Let me count the ways. I think probably the biggest one is not having confidence in yourself. You have to, this is a very, it's a very elite job that we do. Literally, we tattoo faces for a living. That's what we do. We tattoo faces. And there's a lot of pressure that comes with our job. You have to be mindful of that pressure. You know, it's not just making sure that a lady's manicure or pedicure is perfect. It's making sure that the permanent work we've done on her face is perfect.
Yes.
Or imperfectly perfect, so to speak. There's a lot of pressure that goes with it. So just trusting yourself, always. Yeah, it's an interesting, I love this topic because it can branch out in so many different ways. I think for me, the very first thing that I did, so when I started doing this 12 years ago, trust me, people were not lining up to let me tattoo their face. Like 0 of that was happening. So it took a long time. I had another job that I had to work at. I was working in a restaurant. I was doing that on like nights and weekends, and it allowed me to facilitate my clients during the day, the ones that were brave enough to come, because it just wasn't a thing. It was not a thing. So it was a very difficult scope. And as things progressed, when microblading hit the scene, I'd say in about like 2015, microblading kind of, you know, took full stream on social media, and everyone's all hot to trot for it. And I fortunately already created a decent name for myself within my community and realm. So I was kind of the go-to person. Just have to collect my thoughts here because I'm like so excited. There's just so many things. As I was building my business and enjoying my career, as soon as I had literally like $2 to rub together, I went for more training. More training, more training, more training. The more you know, the more, like, knowledge is power. And we all know that. That goes for every facet in life. I don't care who you are or what you do, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. We have to keep reinventing ourselves. We have to keep, everything. It's the biggest thing is that the beauty industry is always changing and evolving. And my kind of tagline is, if you don't keep up, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. So when did you start microblading? Like, how long have you been doing that?
I think I initially did my microblading in 2014. I'd have to look. 2014 or 2015, and just kept going, because that's what made our industry popular.
Yeah, for sure.
And everything old is new again. So we're seeing all of the, you know, my initial training was with soft tap. So that's like a manual method of implanting color into the skin. So for me to transition from that to microblading was pretty easy for me. And then now we're seeing all of these microblading artists having a hard time transitioning into doing powder brows and machine work. Right? So they have to invest in courses. You have to keep investing in yourself. That's my number one, like, mistake. I personally didn't make that mistake, but I see a lot of other artists do it.
Yeah.
Just
and kind of becoming complacent. Like, they get their training and then they just kind of do the same thing. They're not pushing themselves and pushing the envelope.
Absolutely. They're like, oh, okay, well, I'm making a few bucks. This is good. It's okay. I'll just stay in this comfort zone. But you can't. You have to evolve with the industry.
Yeah.
Or you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you do differently? Like, since you did do the training and you were pushing yourself, what's something that you would go back and do differently?
Social media. Yeah, social media. And I think that's just, I don't know if I even want to use the word my generation. I'm 46, and so I'm not media savvy. And I kind of shied away from it for a long time, and I've seen how it's hurt me. Yeah. So you have to be proactive on social media. This is our advertising nowadays. Nobody cares about a newspaper. Nobody wants a flyer on their car.
Yeah.
Like, zero.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that question, because that's, for me, that would be one thing. If I had to do over, I would have paid more attention to it a few years ago.
Yeah. Well, look at what you're doing now. You're going live. That's huge.
Yes, it is. I know. But I love it. I love educating. I've taught I've taught courses. I've done lots. I used to teach aesthetics. I used to teach makeup. I've taught permanent makeup. I love to talk. I love to share knowledge. But it's just all the computer stuff I'm not really good at.
Yeah. Well, it looks like your feed is beautiful. It looks like you've learned a lot.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I've worked hard. Worked hard at that.
Yeah. So tell me, what are some of the mistakes that new beauty professionals should avoid? Besides the ones that we've already mentioned, like,
Devaluing your service and your worth. You have to, even when, and it's a tough one, like, and I totally, I recognize, I get it, that's a tough one. You're like, I'm new, I don't want to screw up, I don't want to mess this up, I don't want to mess this person's face up. Just keep plugging away. Don't group on yourself.
mm-hmm.
I think that's a really vital mistake that some new artists can make. Don't devalue your service. You can discount your service within like kind of your group and people that you know. One thing I did, and this is a really interesting networking tool that I used early on, and I'm excited to share it with people because it was very valuable. We're in the beauty industry, so we always know like-minded beauty professionals, hairdressers, estheticians, lash artists, whoever in our towns, in our circles. So you need to contact them, and you need to offer them a complimentary brow service, or whatever service it is you're offering. If you're offering lashes, you offer them a complimentary lash service, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did was I knew enough hairdressers within my area that I contacted them, asked them if they wanted a free brow treatment, and then I had little cards made up that they put on their mirror, and it said, "Ask me about my brows."
That's awesome.
Because everybody that is sitting in that hairdresser's chair is looking at that mirror.
Yeah.
And you know, because that's all, you just have to look at yourself when you're getting your hair done. The hairdresser's behind you. So you're looking in this mirror, and in the corner it says, "Ask me about my brows." It is the best conversation starter.
That's
and
amazing.
Everyone's like, "Ooh, what does that mean?" And then you've done a fabulous job on, you know, so-and-so's brows, and then they're going to advertise for you. And okay, everyone trusts their hairdresser.
Yes.
Right? Like, hands down. You trust your hairdresser, you tell her your woes, you tell her your kids are assholes. Sorry, I shouldn't probably swear. You tell her, you tell your hairdresser your life, right? So you only see them every so often, but they're an integral part of your life.
Yeah.
So that would be like a huge, sorry?
That's such a good idea. I just wrote it down.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was a big one. And you may have, you know, given away a free set of brows, but that's going to come back to you tenfold.
Yeah.
Because everyone trusts their hairdresser, or their nail tech, or their lash artist, or whatever it may be.
My friend Todd, he wants me to microblade his mustache like yes.
Are you going to do it?
Maybe.
Oh.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, you should video it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh.
But that's one thing, is just network within like our own beauty community. Mm-hmm. Don't let that go undone. It's a huge asset, and it's right there, because like I said, I live in a small town. I don't know about anybody else, but our small town, you're all network. Everyone knows everyone. You might not know them, but you know them.
Right.
So don't be afraid to reach out and offer your services in turn for free advertising.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a few hairstylists and people that I work with already, so I'm gonna make up some of those cards, like you said. Ask me about my brows.
Yes, because it's so simple, but it's like when you read that, you're like, what does that mean? Ask you about your brows. What? Who? It's a great conversation starter.
Yes, love that.
Mm-hmm.
So what other things should they be avoiding? We already talked about lack of confidence, not training?
I think that I'm gonna just tag on the lack of confidence, because we're all gonna get those clients that want to lead the conversation, and you can't let them. You cannot. They have come to you because you are the expert in your field, and don't forget that. So, and I've had these like passive aggressive women coming in, and that's what it is. It's passive aggressive. Oh, well, can I just have this? Oh, but you're the expert. And it's like, then let me be the expert and do what I need to do.
Yes.
So I think that's, just tagging on that confidence part of it. Hold your ground. Stand firm. It's almost like a fake it till you make it. And I never had any qualms about giving somebody a third session for free. If I knew that it was kind of on my, I see their brows come back and I'm like, ooh, yeah, I could have done better, I'll have you in for another session. I don't care what that costs me, because it costs me more to send an unhappy client out there.
Absolutely.
But that's how I run. I don't charge for my follow-up session. It's included in my initial price, because I want to see my work come back to me. That's the only way you can figure out how everything heals. You can send anybody out the door with gorgeous brows, but it's all about how they heal. And if you're working with a new product line, you need to see those colors come back to you. You need to, it's a must. It's a must.
Yeah. So that brings me to a different topic. This is kind of off topic, but it's just something that is on my mind. So I'm going from having the touch-up included in my initial cost to charging $50 for a touch-up. Do you think that will prohibit people from wanting to come back for their touch-up appointment?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. But that's just my personal opinion. I would suggest lumping it in with your initial cost, because for me, it's more important to see my work come back. I want to evaluate my work. I want to be able to open up their chart and go, okay, I use this, this, and this. And I actually work very reserved. I would much prefer, because we all know they have that initial shock when you first, they're like, oh my God, they're too dark. I look angry, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I would rather them leave kind of in that state and come back for their follow-up going, oh, I really love this shade, but can we go a little darker? And at that point, I'm like, not laughing at them, but I'm like, yeah, if that's our biggest worry, that is not a worry at all.
Right.
So, but like I said, that's how I work. I think I've learned so much more from seeing my own work come back to me, because that is the real testament to how you did. You can send them up the door with gorgeous brows, but it's all about how they healed.
Yeah.
And as you grow and experience things as an artist, you can have an educated guess as to how things are going to heal, but you never know until you see it.
Right. Okay, so I haven't fully put that out there yet, so maybe I'll reconsider.
Yeah, but that's just that's just my feeling on things. I want to see my work come back. I want to see where I can improve.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So do you have any other mistakes that a new beauty professional should avoid?
You better have some permanent makeup on your own face.
Yes, that's such a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
How are we supposed to talk? I look at it within the first 5, this is the pressure of our industry. Within the first 5 minutes of meeting somebody, if you haven't done a prior consultation, you have to build trust with them so that they will allow you to tattoo their face. Right. Within 5 minutes of meeting somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have never experienced it, no, I'm not in. I'm not in.
Yeah.
I
That's
want you to be able to give me your experience, what it felt like the, how comfortable, uncomfortable it was, what your healing process was, the range of emotions that you go through during the healing process,
yes.
right? Like we've all, like, if you've ever had your brows done, it's a roller coaster of emotions. So I value being able to reiterate that to my clients.
Yes, I love that. That's a great one. I've worked with some artists before who haven't had any makeup, and it's hard for them to understand the process and like how to explain it to people.
Well, my first question would be like, well, why?
Mm-hmm.
You're an advocate for this. Why don't you have it done?
Right. As a client, I think that would be a red flag for me.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Trying to see who's in there.
We're getting some comments.
Who's on our chat?
Somebody said they missed the penny face.
Missed the penny face.
So do you have any other mistakes that we should be sharing with people to avoid?
I think confidence is a really, really huge one, to be honest with you. You have to be very confident, because what we do is so stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't even pretend like it's not. It's very, very stressful.
Yeah.
So you have to have that confidence so that your client feels confident in your skill. Because if you're approaching your client and you're like, oh, well, this, and you're second guessing yourself, you are never going to build that confidence with your client.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. If you're wishy-washy, if somebody was wishy-washy with me, I'd be like, okay, I'm out, bye.
Yeah, get the needle away from me.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you tattoo my face.
Right.
Right? That's what we do. We tattoo faces.
Yeah, I agree that confidence is major.
It's huge.
Lacking confidence and beating yourself up about the lack of confidence.
Oh my gosh.
Beating themselves up about their work, like not being confident in your results.
That's a great one. I just had a gal that I trained probably 4 years ago, and we had a little meetup. She had a hiccup with a client, and so we got together to solve the problem so that I could teach her how to solve the problem. And she was like, oh, Penny, like sometimes I think I go home and I'm like stressed about it, and like my work wasn't good enough, and and we've all felt like that. And I told her, I'm like, I've been doing this 12 years. It's not going to change.
Yep.
It's not going to change.
Yeah.
So you have to accept it, because that's part of the beauty of what we do, is that we always want to strive to be better. Mm-hmm. And that's why I like to see my work come back to me, so that I can see where I want to improve it. So stay on the path of wanting to do better, and we're always our own worst critics.
Yes, absolutely. So
just suck it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're always going to find flaws in our own work. That's that's never going to end.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay, because for me, I take it as it pushes me to be better, to learn more, to achieve more.
The next level, right?
Yeah.
I've been working with one of my artists who's an apprentice, and one thing that I told her, somebody told me when I was just starting out, was that no matter what you do, it's still better than what they had.
Absolutely.
Like, so even if you feel like it's not 100% perfect, or there's one hair stroke is out of place or whatever the issue may be, it's still better than what they came in with.
Oh, 100%. And sometimes if you have to, pull out their photos and remind them of that.
And remind yourself that.
Yeah, we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's something, like you said, that will never go away. I mean, anybody that does what we do, it has some level of perfectionist in them.
Yes.
So, and that's why we are the way we are and we're good at what we do, is because we overanalyze it.
Yeah.
And we're constantly working to be better. So
I agree.
I think it's necessary that we're like that.
Mm-hmm. Another thing is, don't be afraid to talk about what you do for a living. Social situations are kind of different right now, but anytime previous to COVID, if I was in a social situation, I would tell people what I do. Yeah. And I would I think I like the shock value, and I would say I tattoo faces. Yeah. And everyone's like, what? And they scan my face like I'm not all needled up.
Tatted up.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's what I do for a living. And then it just engages that conversation and they want to learn more. So right there, that's like you put out the hook and they bit. Yeah. So it's up to you to reel them in at that point.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to talk about it in any situation. And there's more situations that you have the opportunity to talk about it than you think.
Yeah. I think that's a good one for me too. Like, I've been in this business for coming up on 3 years, mm-hmm. and it's still kind of foreign, like that new feeling to me of like talking about it. So I need to push myself to do more of that too.
Good. I'm glad you recognize that.
Yeah.
So, and it's just an easy conversation to have, and just, mm-hmm. Throwing yourself out there on the table. I've known other artists that will specifically wear their work uniform into the grocery store, mm-hmm. because it will have their, little logo or label, and it will spike a conversation.
That's smart.
And don't be afraid to throw yourself out there like that, because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
That's awesome. So I just love talking with you, Penny.
Thanks, Rebecca. We've had a good chat. This has been fun.
Yeah. Do you have any other pointers you want to share before we wrap it up?
I have my notes. Hold on.
Yeah.
I think that's basically it. Like, we just have to remember what we do is different than the average. So embrace that. And, just like what we do is really freaking cool. Yeah. My youngest son is 14, and I'm like, yeah, I tattoo faces. And he's like, my mom is a tattoo artist. Like, just tag on it. Because what we do is really freaking cool.
It really is. It's amazing.
Yeah. And just the confidence. I think the confidence thing is number one. Mm-hmm. Being confident with your work. How do you get confident with your work? Keep learning. Mm-hmm. Keep learning. There's always something to learn. No matter how many courses I've taken, there's, so much of it is repetition and whatever, but there's always some little nugget of information that I'm like, okay, that was worth it. And especially now when so much is online.
Yes, it's right at your fingertips.
It is. I mean, I've flown to countries all over the world for my education. Mm-hmm. You don't have to pay for flights, hotel, nothing.
Right.
It's way friendlier on the wallet now.
Yeah, for sure.
So, who are you snapping at? Children or?
Yeah, my dog. Where is he?
It's one or the other. I'm like, it's kids or an animal.
My dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to talk to you. But yeah, speaking of online, I have some online courses that are coming to live at the end of this month.
Fantastic. What are they?
So microblading. I'm doing basic microblading and advanced microblading. They're
Excellent.
completely online, so people can learn from the comfort of their own home. And I'll be having a VIP list so people can sign up early and get exclusive discounts.
Great.
Yes.
Yes. I love it.
So how can we work with you, and how can people get in touch with you, Penny?
Instagram at Pennylanes of Paris. Don't be afraid to reach out with any questions or comments. That's basically it. I'm an open book. I love to talk. I love to share my knowledge. I guess that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're coming out of lockdown soon. I hope it ends soon for you.
Thanks, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
I don't know if I see it happening that soon, but
yeah. Well, anytime you want to chat, let me know. We'll get on here and talk it up.
Will do.
Awesome.
Hit me up
Thank
for
you so
another
much.
topic anytime.
Yes, I will for sure.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate the support. Please like, subscribe, share, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Forever Brows and Beauty Studio. And please join us again next time for new guests, new stories, and new inspiration. Thanks so much.